in so many different aspects of this, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And just the mission recalls and everything, like it's a lot to grasp, you know. But I do know that I am working for the right reasons, you know. And obviously for disclosure, which they are not trying to have happen, which right now right now what's going on, you know, if you really want to get real, I'm just getting to the point. Okay, right now, Nibiru Nibiru has entered into our solar system. Okay, there's been videos, all this stuff about it, and it all has to do with the solar eclipse, everything. My book has to do with it. You know, every 3,600 years it comes to pass, this Earth, and there, from my sources, and I would bet my life on this. Okay, and this is very important. It is in our solar system now, and there's a binary. We're linked with a binary star system right now, and this is what NASA and stuff has been stopping with their chemtrail program and all that, which actually have the name of the most blackest operation that there is.
The blackest of black, the Vanta Black of black.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I have the information. Okay.
Well, before we get there, give me your definition of Nibiru, because that's something that's been talked about for a long time, and a lot of people say a lot of different things about it. So,
right,
home in there on exactly what Nibiru is.
I will do that, because I actually write about that in my book. You know, because that was part of my coming to understanding of what was going on and who I am. And basically, Nibiru is the planet of the Anunnaki. And basically 450,000 years ago, their planet, they were destroying it. You know, and they're humans like us, but they're bigger. They're the Nephilim. They're 16 to 10 feet tall. You know what I'm saying?
Like the Nordics.
Yes. And 450,000 years ago, they were destroying their planet, and they needed, in order to save their planet, they needed gold. And basically every 3,600 years, their planet comes into our solar system. And they knew this, and Earth is rich in gold. And basically 450,000 years ago, there, and this is all logged in the Sumerian tablets too, because in the Sumerian tablets, basically they show the knowledge coming in not from Earth but from outside.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
From the Pleiades and such.
Right. So they show that, and basically they knew that they were coming to Earth, and they knew that they could mine gold, but at the time, Earth was called Tiamat. It was actually called Tiamat, and there were times in the past where Nibiru would come into Earth's orbit, and it would actually destroy shit.
Right.
You know.
So what is it? Is it a planet?
It is a planet.
Brown dwarf?
It's a whole system. It's a whole system.
It's a whole system of planets.
It's a whole system
type planet with a whole bunch of moons flying around it.
Basically, the star Sirius. The star. It's we're getting linked in with that.
With Sirius.
But, yeah. But that's the binary system.
Yeah, and they didn't know it was a binary system until what was it? Like after they'd built like some of Hubble's early work, and he was able to finally peep it out and tell that it was two stars. That there's a Sirius A and a Sirius B. A lot of folks don't know that.
Obviously, that's what the Egyptians the Egyptians were hinting at and stuff. So, but basically, 450,000 years ago, they were destroying their planet, and they had to come to Earth and mine gold. But at time on Earth, that was called Tiamat, and basically there were what we like to call tiny foots. You know, everybody likes to know what the missing link is, right?
Mm-hmm.
and basically, there were basically what we called tiny foots, and they were what do you call them? Aboriginal, or
Aboriginal.
or they were hairy,
Indigenous, like the
y-
earlier people.
very, very
Before
primitive,
modern
very
Homo
primitive. I
sapiens.
mean, hey, they show it in Lucy. They
Yeah.
show it in Lucy, okay? And they came here, and they actually mixed their DNA with us back then.
Yep. That's kind of how I
Yep.
thought it always played out.
Yep, that is how it played out, and they did that, and they created us. But when they first created us, our species, we couldn't reproduce. But I mean, and this is the whole biblical story was of Adam and Eve, and all this stuff was basically of the tree of knowledge, Enki, and that and Enlil were obviously Anunnaki, right?
Right.
And they had created a race and stuff like that, and it really goes deep. You have to read the Flower of Life by John Valo Melchizedek, both volumes. To really get a grasping of how the Anunnaki made our race and how they are the missing link.
Right. Sitchin's creation story, his interpretation of the Sumerian creation story was that it was combined. The Sumerians said it was, they combined them with the mud of the earth. So he took that to be the basic building blocks of DNA or whatever. And then the was it the queen? I guess a goddess or whatever. She incubated in herself. So
You are right on.
And yeah, I mean, I've read, I think, probably all of Sitchin's books, but yeah, I mean,
you're right. You are so right on, because the thing is, though, is yeah, that is what they did. Is basically the clay of the earth. They took their DNA and mixed it with the mud and a primate.
Mm-hmm. So according to him, they called them their black-headed people.
Yep, and that's that. They made them as a slave race.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And they were to mine gold, and there was an island called Guandala land, and all that stuff where they were at, and they were just basically, and they all had their places in Iraq and all that stuff with flowering gardens, mm-hmm. and lavish Eden cultures, but they did have a race to mine gold for them.
Yeah, it's what they originally made us as, right?
Yes.
So now what do they need the gold for?
They needed the gold because they had destroyed their atmosphere, and basically they needed the gold to spread in their atmosphere to keep their planet alive, and that's what they needed the gold for, and they needed a race to mine the gold. What was that?
Atmospheric scrubbers or processors?
I don't know. I mean, like obviously they knew the science.
Kind of like how there's platinum and catalytic converters.
Yeah, I mean they know how to keep it, but that's what they needed, and they've been mining gold, and they basically have used the human race to do that, But we learned that we could procreate, recreate, and become gods ourselves. and that was the old serpent in the tree. Mm-hmm. And all that stuff, because before they didn't know they could get together and start making more and stuff, but that was found out through the knowledge of the serpent, who was Enki, who wanted obviously this race, who was humanity, to know what they were capable of, mm-hmm. and who they were, and so here we are.
So now
450,000 years later.
So now, how does this tie in with your super soldier?
Oh, okay, here we go. Well, just the knowledge. The knowledge. I've been reincarnating we've all been reincarnating. Okay, like right now, there's a 26,000 year cycle going on, and we are at the end of it. And basically, the truth is that we are trapped in this cycle, and that's what they're trying to keep us in. But we've done enough to actually ascend, and they can't keep us in slavery anymore. Because we have done what it needs to take to do to ascend. Because right now, the truth is Nibiru is coming into our system. It's at Venus right now. You know what I'm saying?
So it's a whole system of planets, and it's at Venus right now.
Yes. It's a whole nother solar system coming into our system, and this has to do with the 26,000 year cycle coming to an end, and it's all cyclical.
Wouldn't
and plus,
how doesn't that rip our solar system apart?
It would send every other planet zinging all cattywampus.
Yeah.
We'll check me out, okay? Because if you haven't seen already, the things that are going on in the world, you know what I'm saying? The floods in Houston, it's a gravitational. Right now. It is gravitationally having an effect on our planet, and it's going to have even a more gravitational effect. And when it passes, because it is, and this is what they're trying to keep secret from everybody, is because it's going to pass, because it's at Venus right now, and that is how serious this is, and that's what I'm trying to bring to you right now, like with an update of how close we are to actually experiencing something that no one has ever seen before in their life.
So, if it's at Venus, how long do you suppose it will take to pass us?
Well, basically, what I'm trying to say right now is that I'm in Florida right now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm here because I have family here, but I know when this passes, the whole Earth is going to shift. The poles are going to change. It's scientifically proven. Like I talk about this in my book. It's cyclical. It happens. You know what I'm saying? And literally, that system is at Venus, and it's causing all kinds of crazy shit right now to this Earth.
I'm just having a hard time with the sense of scale, because I mean, like Venus, the star itself. Like if you took like Sirius A, the big one, the big star out of the Sirius system, and plopped it in the middle of our solar system, all four of the inner planets would be inside of it. Like it's that big compared to our sun. It's like multiple astronomical units wide, and that's just that one star. So does this mean that do you mean like the gravitational influence of Sirius, which, I mean, I could go out and observe right now. It's about 50 light years away. If it were smack dab in the middle of our solar system, which is pretty much where Venus is relative to us, it would annihilate our solar system.
Well, you weren't saying that Sirius was in the middle of our solar system, were you?
Well, I mean, no. But we are coming into.
You were saying Nibiru was.
Oh, Nibiru?
Yeah, you were saying Nibiru was a collection of planets.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
But the fact of the matter is that Nibiru has entered our solar system, and that every time it does cause events, and those events are very. You can see them, like I put them on my webpage. I mean. Basically, the Houston, all these events are happening because of the gravitational effect of the system that's coming into our system, and this has been prophesized. This is what the elites know. This is why they built underground bunkers. You know what I'm saying? Because they knew this was going to happen, and it's happening right now. And you said you guys wanted to know something crazy. This is the craziest thing right now, because literally I'm in Florida right now, and this shit is going under. Not the whole of Florida, but just like kind of half of it, because I know remote viewers and stuff like that know what's going to happen, and I've done so much studying about the Earth changes and stuff for when Nibiru passes. But this is the big truth that they are hiding. It's Nibiru, Atlantis, all this stuff.
So tell me, man, how much longer we got before it comes by? I mean, it's
dude,
right by
Venus. It's at Venus right now.
So I mean, you're talking what, a matter of days?
It's gonna be it's right now. I'm in Florida, and I'm gonna be getting out of Florida.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that's what I just want to say to you of what I'm aware of. You know, because no one else is aware of this. No one else is aware of this.
So how did you come by this knowledge?
Just through, I'm an intelligence agent. You know what I'm saying? I gather intel. That's all that I do. And through intuitive knowledge and all this stuff, it's what I know is the truth. And it's in my book. It's everything that I've come to learn. I mean, it's all come to this crescendo to where now Nibiru is actually here, entering in our, and you know, and I have so much more to reveal because it's gonna deal with things that happen when it passes and things that happen after it passes.
So now you had mentioned the eclipse. Now are you saying that the Nibiru is responsible for the eclipse?
The eclipse was like a reset. It was like a reset, and it's all cosmically, meaningful.
Well, there's
and
going to be
the
another
eclipse
one in 10 years. Isn't that uncommon to have them so close together?
Well, obviously it is, but this one was the big one that marked a reset, because there's so much going on right now, because the Federal Reserve's about to go down. You know,
oh, that would just make my day. That would take
dude,
me pink.
We would seriously do we would do an all-night broadcast. If they end the Fed, we will broadcast reality brief all night
Party
for
City,
12
man.
hours of reality.
Well, just wait until a planet that they you okay, here we go. I'm gonna tell you about the operation. Okay, the blackest of black.
All right.
All right. And this is what they've been doing, okay, to keep us in the dark. You know, and that black operation is called Operation.
Is it safe?
Wait, no. Hold on. My notes are Operation Indigo Skyfold. Okay.
Indigo Skyfold.
Okay. Yes, this secret covert black op field covers three things. It's to control weather, okay? It's to implement warfare, and it's to cover up the existence of a second sun in our system.
Dope.
And this is what NASA has been doing. This is the blackest of the black. This is the chemtrails. You know what I'm saying? They really have been blocking us out from seeing anything coming in.
Well, and I noticed when you don't phrase it, people start foaming at the mouth if you bring up chemtrails.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you phrase it as geoengineering, they suddenly get a lot more pliable.
Yeah, well, of course, because it's made that way. You know, the system's made that way. But those that are not controlled by the system know what the hell's going on. You know, and this is part of their thing, and this is what they've been doing is with the chemtrails. They've been blocking out what's actually happening in our atmosphere, and that's in Operation. And I mean, okay, FEMA, dude, it's getting real. Like this isn't about like just talking about shit anymore. Like FEMA is preparing for the Black Sky event, which is obviously it's they prepare for what could happen in a power outage or just a massive just total stopping of everything. And they're doing this for a reason, is because they know that this is coming.
Okay, so what's this Black Sky event? You got me roped in here.
Okay, the Black Sky event is a drill. It's ran for EMP attacks, and it's made for power outages. But basically, FEMA's getting ready. I mean, martial law is getting ready to be instilled when this all happens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, heck.
And what we are going to want to be doing is being sovereign and having food and being able to sustain ourselves while this changeover happens. Because I'm telling you this, 8 years ago, I wasn't aware of what I was getting ready for, but now I know that this is what is going to happen because it's happening right now. And basically, the U.S. is going to be put underneath martial law because, I mean, if a fucking goddamn planet passes by the Earth, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, especially if gravitational forces cause massive earthquakes, flooding, and...
Dude, I'm in Florida right now, and I'm getting out of here.
I mean, well, if I had that kind of information, Florida does not seem like the place to be.
I'm just trying to say the seriousness of it because I'm not just like, you know, playing around anymore. Like plus I've had dreams, you know, right. of all kinds of things happen on coastal things, you know. So I'm getting it on another level too, you know. So that is what I really wanted to get forward in this though, because that's what's really. I mean, I know I'm a super soldier. I got, you know, memories for days of memory recalls of missions of the 4,138 that I'm remembering. You know, and but this is what's really important though, is because the world is really about to see celestially, you know, cosmically. You know, no one's going to be looking down at their cell phones.
That is going to be pretty rad to finally get. You know, I thought the eclipse would get people to look up finally. And,
man,
you know, some people you had to like poke them with a stick to get them to go outside and even get them to look at the shadows on the ground.
That was cool.
Yeah, you saw how they all turned into little crescent moons?
Yeah, no, I was like, dude, the whole Earth's getting darker. I'm like, this is cool. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm feeling this energy.
I saw a meme on the internet that promised me a squirrel with a child's face that spoke only lies, but I didn't see it.
That's all right though.
Yeah, there's been a lot of people running around saying that there was no moon during the eclipse and there was nothing there. Have you seen any of that floating around?
I've seen those things, and obviously it's all you know. There's a lot of psyops. There's a lot of things, mm-hmm. you know. But that's in intelligence gathering. That is one thing. I mean the CIA. They teach their intelligence agents this. Don't be parochial. You know, you don't just limit yourself to one thing. You gather it all. You know, that's the intelligence cycle. You know, even things that aren't true, you read them.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying, and
mm-hmm.
that is how you get a good hold on what's actually really going on, and that's what intelligence agents do, is they provide reports for future basically circumstances and stuff.
So now, are you saying you're actively gathering intelligence for an agency? Or are you just saying that about yourself, that you're, you know?
I am, you know, and with the MILAB experience, that is part of the phases. Is in the MILAB experience, you the first stage is you know, you get you come into this Earth, and you have extraterrestrial genetics. And you have psychic ability, all that stuff. The government knows this. You know what I'm saying? They target you, and then they basically Adjustment Bureau you. You know, have you seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
Adjustment Bureau?
Nope. But
anyways,
now.
Yep, you should. It's got Matt Damon in it, but there's a lot of disclosure. But they basically, you have a plan in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because they want you to be part of something. And in my life, I can go directly into how the Adjustment Bureau was placed onto my life. You know, and I'm skipping around, but where was I?
Well, you said Tom was gonna get more.
Okay. The MILAB, the MILAB timeline, the MILAB timeline. I'm on the MILAB timeline. Basically, you come in with extraterrestrial genetics. They know who you are. You have psychic ability. They target you. with me, I was obviously, they wanted me in the military, so I whatever was made for me to have that was made for me, which I talk about that in my book, because basically I was a kid, in I was 7 years old, and basically in where I was living there was my mom was going to college, and there was a group of three brothers that moved in right next to her, and they were all training to be pilots. And two of them were actually training to be Marine Corps pilots.
Whoa.
Yeah, and basically I was a kid just playing, but I have a my memory is off the charts, so I can put things together and see things that other people don't see. But they were put into my life to direct me into the military path.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's very clear because basically they approached us as kids. We were just kids playing out in their yard, and they approached us. And then one of those brothers actually ended up marrying my mother. And then I was obviously very influenced because I saw them in their dress blues as a Marines, and I was like, whoa.
It makes an impression on a kid.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I want to be a Marine. I'm like, I want to be a Marine, and so
My folks were in the Air Force, man.
Yeah, that took an effect on me. But even when I was a kid, you know what I'm saying? Like, they were doing grooming things on me that I didn't even realize, and I would be taken to bases physically. I mean, it wasn't. This was just like my own timeline. Where they would be like, hey, come down to California, where your uncle is a major in the Marine Corps flying F-18s, and come down here. And then I would go down there, and then I would go onto a base, and obviously, everyone on the base is saluting my uncle and stuff, and we're going into a very top secret area.
Mm-hmm.
And as a kid, and this is my physical remembrance of actually in this body. You know what I'm saying? And they took me into a simulator for F-18s, when I was like 10. And they basically let me get in there, and when I was the simulator was an F-18 cockpit, and it had a dome, like just this dome all around it. And they just let me get into the cockpit, and I was just flying the F-18, and it's just like the most ultimate simulator you could ever imagine. And they're telling him, give him missiles, give him this, give him that, and I'm just fucking playing it like it's a video game,
Right.
like Ender's Game.
But you're piloting a real drone.
I mean, my life is exactly like Ender's Game. The movie Ender's Game, where basically they're child prodigy geniuses that are military geniuses that can are recruited to basically fight off an alien race for humanity, and that's what I've been involved in, for being a super soldier.
Well, and I have absolutely no doubt that the state would be perfectly willing to take kids and use them for those purposes.
Well, when you really get down to it, though, like it's kind of a sensitive subject, though, because in that movie Ender's Game, it's kind of funny because when I went to Iraq, the first book that I ever read was Ender's Game. Nice. And just understanding how he thought he was just training the whole time, but really fighting a war. And that is a very, very it relates to my life a lot, because that's what I'm dealing with, is because I live an everyday life linearly. I'm doing what I'm doing linearly, but really I'm fighting this war against reptilians and aliens, for the salvation of the human race. And there's even a scene in Ender's Game where the colonel tells the recruits, he's like, you can't talk to anyone back home because they're not going to understand. They're not going to understand what you're fighting for, and what you're doing. And I mean that's what I believe that I'm fighting for is for the salvation of humanity, and everything that I've been involved in.
There was another film that came out recently, The Arrival, and a big part of The Arrival was where the aliens land and show up, and they give their language to humanity, and then they start talking about how the way you process language, the way your brain processes language, alters the way your mind perceives time. And they were like, look, in 3,000 of your Earth years, we're going to need your help, so we need you to understand us now. And they come to Earth and they give people their language, and when people start comprehending this alien language, which is like this ring, and it has all these little slashes and scribbles around the perimeter of the ring, people start to understand that time itself isn't linear, that it is indeed out of order. You can't hop around from one place in time to another. And so this whole chick is like, or the protagonist, her whole life is, kind of flashing before her eyes through the whole course of the movie. And, instead of one continuous series of events, it's all over the place. And then that's how you start to see how the plot weaves itself together.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a good movie for disclosure, though, because the truth is that they need our help. You know what I'm saying? When it really comes down to it, they do need our help. And there is time travel involved.
So that was soft disclosure.
Yeah. Yes, it was
more soft disclosure, I should say, because there's
man, you can't keep up with disclosure right now. There's so much disclosure going on that it's not even funny. Like, I mean, DC Legends of Tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Have you seen People of Earth?
Not yet.
There's a show called People of Earth, and I almost feel like they're trolling us.
Mm-hmm.
But 3 of the show's main protagonists are a Nordic, a Grey, and a Reptilian.
Yes. So essentially, they're just they're there stewarding a plot to take over the planet and abducting people and stuff. And the show centers around the abductees. And it's a comedy. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. No, you're clairvoyantly seeing what is being shown, because other people are watching these things as just movies and all this stuff, but there's so much disclosed.
It's funny.
I mean, I have a whole list of movies and video games right here that I could talk about, and actually, I want to talk about one thing right now.
Well, I don't want to rain on your parade, but before we get there, one more thing on Nibiru before we shift gears here. Now, you said that, I'm assuming you meant that the Anunnaki were the ones. That's who you were talking about. 450,000 years ago, they looked like us, whatever. So,
10 to 6 feet.
Are they still
feet tall?
Living on Nibiru?
Have you seen Gods of Egypt? 10 to 16 feet tall.
Okay.
They show you right there. Soft disclosure. Actually, full disclosure.
So, are they still on it?
Yes, they are.
So,
yes, they are.
What are they going to do when they get here?
Man, they're already here. But the thing is they're going to show themselves.
Okay. So now, do you think that this is the moment where we get the, I don't know, quote unquote savior aliens, that they masquerade a species in front of us and
don't get on the ships,
pretend like V? Think about V, the TV show V. Now, do you think that could be one of those moments, or do you think that these Anunnaki are good?
Oh, believe me though. Yes, but the government, the people, the reptilians, all this stuff. There's a plan. There's a plan because they've known that this was going to happen. The Mayans predicted it and everything like that. But they've known, and they have a plan to try to deceive people. You know what I'm saying? And they're going to try to they're going to do whatever they can to deceive people, but the ones the benevolent ones are going to show their power, which is more powerful than the ones that are trying to deceive. So basically,
go ahead, continue. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean, I'm just trying to say is basically there is going to be like a Project Bluebeam kind of scenario going on.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
So a fake alien invasion.
Well, all I'm trying to tell you is every single day, I get flown around 24 hours a day by aircraft but they're not aircraft. They're actually TR-3 series craft.
Nice.
But they're cloaked. They're cloaked though, and they can appear as whatever they want to appear as. They can appear as a 747. They can appear as a AC-130. They can appear as a AH-1 Cobra. They can appear as an AH-64 Apache. They can appear as whatever they want, but they fly.
Tech?
What's that?
Is that holographic tech?
Yes, it is holographic tech.
Cool.
But the thing that I have to say is for me, for the past 8 years, man, I've been flown around fucking hundreds of thousands of times. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, people like I don't have very many friends, but with people that know me, they realize that damn, there's a lot of air traffic. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of air traffic when you're on our presence, but that's them basically trying to distract me from what I'm doing.
We're so used to it here in Hampton Roads because we live smack dab pretty much between Norfolk Airport and Newport News Airport, and then on top
Right.
of that,
No, but
there's
that hey,
the Air
bam,
Force Base,
right there.
the
That's
Navy.
Yep, that's where they can the most they can show themselves is around airports and crowded places.
So Hampton Roads is probably thick with them.
Oh, dude, all the TR-3s that you said you seen, are you know, if you see them, if you see these planes at night, if you see these helicopters at night, you can see them for what they really are, and they're black triangles. And what I'm trying to say is that there's going to be a time here when Nibiru passes and the poles shift and all this crazy shit's going on, that the cabal is going to try to create a Project Bluebeam scenario, and then they're going to show what they have, which is going to be black triangles all over the fucking place. But the benevolent ones, the higher beings that have higher powers than them, obviously, are going to come through, and then this is what's going to be called the 12 Days of Light. It's going to be.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to get a clear picture here now. Are you saying the Anunnaki on Nibiru are the benevolent ones, or they are involved with this deal with the cabal and the reptilians?
There are both.
Both.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Just like there are
They're
benevolent
individuals like we are. They don't have a hive mind.
Yeah.
So there's no central authority that's like, get the humans or whatever.
No, there's not. It's all free will.
Okay,
You
so
know, they're beings and souls just like us, and it's like
well, what
whatever.
I mean by central authority is like we're beings and souls, but we still have a government. We have a central authority. You get what I'm saying?
That central authority is about to be dismantled.
I would like
Right.
to think that any species that's advanced enough to be going to other star systems and whatnot has evolved past the need for a central authority.
I would
Yes.
hope so, but
Well, what I know about other races like the Palladians and the Syrians and all that stuff. Obviously, this has to do with the Kardashian scale. Have you heard that?
Kardashev scale.
Yeah. Okay.
Nikolai
Right
Kardashev.
now, right. They are type 1, you know, type 2, type 3, type 4, type 5, even.
Type 5 would be like godlike power, like the Q.
We are a type 1 civilization, but the
Barely.
masses are still at type 0.
Yeah, like Mughal civilization on Earth is like
Right.
0.5 maybe.
Right.
The
But
breakaway civilization is
after
scratching type 1.
after this cycle is complete, which we've ended it,
Mhm.
which my book is about, we're about to go into a type 1 civilization
For everyone.
for everyone. Because
But-
because that was the big war going on.
But here's the thing. Now, Dan and I have been researching the cabal, as people call it now, for a long time.
Yeah.
We're used to using the phrase New World Order.
Yeah, I mean...
Oh, you guys
like,
know what you right.
So,
I call that the old world order.
yeah,
Yeah,
essentially, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
Now I completely lost my damn train of thought, man. I killed myself there on that one.
Talking about the cabal and the New World Order.
Yeah, their plan for a long time has always been to bring in a civilization like that, but to exterminate 90% of us first.
Yeah, it's as it says on the Georgia Guidestones, they want to leave less than 500 million people.
So now,
to maintain balance with nature.
What you're explaining to me sounds like that's very scenario. So now, are you saying there's going to be a culling?
I'm sorry to say this. I'm sorry to say this, but with what's about to happen with Nibiru passing, there are going to be millions that are going to die.
They won't need a culling.
They won't need a culling because it'll be a natural
right.
culling. Well, if the Anunnaki, for the most part, are benevolent on Nibiru, wouldn't they try to do something to warn us or prevent the disasters? Maybe negate the gravitational effect somehow if they have anti-gravity technology.
The thing is I think they do that by spirituality. Like coming through on different dimensional levels through psychic contact, through dreams and stuff like that. Because like in Star Trek, the new Star Trek, you can't interfere. You can intervene, but you're not supposed to.
Right. The prime directive.
The prime directive.
Right. Right, and that's what's going on right now.
Don't mess with pre-warp civilizations.
But I'm telling you this, guys, like this shit is at Venus. So if you guys are looking for something to happen, it's happening
soon. It's interesting because you remember in the 90s there was a lot of those disaster maps circulating, like based on Casey prophecies, based on this one's channeling this, that, and the other thing, and it always showed essentially the same thing: Mississippi River overflow, half of Texas gone. But the funny thing about it is that Houston is right there in the middle of that whole map. Like every single map you look at, Houston is dead in the middle of that. So I got to thinking,
there's geological evidence for lots of flooding in the Central American plains.
No doubt.
And I mean, it's probably been happening for a long time, long before we built cities there.
Well, you gotta remember too, in the Gulf of Mexico, they found petrified forests that got kicked up after Katrina.
Yeah.
That were under the water, and then you've got all kinds of temples. There's all types of shit down there that, and it looks like it may have been connected, Cuba, South America, all that at one point, and there was a breach, and that was below sea level, and then it filled up because they found stuff off the coast of Cuba that's so deep, even when they roll back the timelines to the Ice Age, it still would have had to been built underwater.
Bam. I mean, you just got to go with your intuition and what you feel. And that's right on. Because right now I've actually just come upon videos about waves that are hitting in our Chile. I mean, it's the tides are receding, and there's waves coming in, and there's fucking hurricanes happening here, and I even have information about the hurricane in Texas of how the cabal actually seeded that hurricane to make it worse than it was.
I saw something earlier. Somebody posted on Facebook. I didn't get a chance to really dive into it, trying to vet it out at all. But it was a document from geoengineers saying that they had actually seeded right before the hurricane in Texas. So I don't know if that's what you're talking about, but I saw that earlier. I just hadn't had a chance to kind of vet it out and see if it was legit or not.
That's part of their program.
Yeah, I mean,
and that's fucked up.
They came out a long time ago and told everyone they were spraying us and called it geoengineering. And then you've got, see, the thing about the chemtrail thing is that it's in my mind, it's drawing some parallels to the flat Earth movement here, because some of these people will take this and just point out any old contrail and be like, oh, they're spraying us, when we know that's not the case. Not every single plane in the sky is spraying us, correct?
Right.
It's specialized military equipment.
Yes.
So it almost, I don't know, man, that's the whole thing. That's like we were talking about earlier with the no moon thing. That seems to all be coming out of the flat Earth community, which to me is just 100% psyop.
Yeah. Well, you feel that. No moon, flat Earth. No moon, flat Earth. What the fuck?
Hey, I got a question.
But my thing is chemtrail being a real phenomena, documented, geoengineering, been doing it for years, but it kind of takes on that persona because you get some people, whether they're agents or not, are just truly ignorant, just saying some stupid shit. You know what I mean?
Actually, I'm in contact with a chemtrail pilot who is whistleblowing.
Awesome.
You know, who I'm actually involved with being a super soldier with.
Awesome,
so,
man.
She's,
you should see if she wants to come on the show sometime.
Man, she is in the dark because I mean she like me. I'm trying to come out into the light, but obviously the more you come out into light, the more they try to stop you. Like with what I'm doing right now, I'm getting gang stalked. I'm getting attacked. My family's getting attacked. Like basically, I mean, I'll just be sitting there, you know, on the computer, and there'll be a car that every single day, the same truck comes by and just sits there and fucking watches me.
Do you get followed?
You know what I'm saying? And this is an agent. You know what I'm saying? And plus, and that's not even it. They because I'm getting more vocal and stuff like that, they start doing crazy shit around you to start defaming you, because there's 6 stages. You know, I'm gonna go into the gang stalking right now because it's very important.
Well, we got to jump to the break real quick. We'll get to that as soon as we get back. We got about
that would be good.
It'll be about a 10-minute break. Just you can go to the bathroom, do whatever you got to do. But yeah, well, that's it. We'll be back next hour with some more from Anthony Zender, and we'll see you then.
Saturn, virgin mother of virtue, villainous animals will seek out and hurt you, distort you and twist you and misrepresent you. Your elegant innocence has transformed you into a definite target of manipulations and greedy ravagings, of plunder your purity, spoil your seed, shadow you under scrutiny, or hide you entirely from consensus reality. Veritas.
Think I got time to go for my gun, or that's the type of thing that's gonna lose me a little neck?
Yeah, I wouldn't take that.
Fair enough. Hey, maybe I can reach into this front pocket, get me a smoke.
All right, slow.
Man's about to draw his last breath. You think you could oblige in a little chit chat?
No, this thing's will kill you.
And his blade won't. So what is it? Robbery?
No.
Vengeance?
Yeah, that's the one.
Oh, that's cute. What are you on a quest? You a man on a mission?
I'm looking for a killer.
We all killers here.
I'm looking for her killer. Yeah. Think you know who I'm trying to find?
Maybe he's up on this blade. We can talk like civilized folk. That's better. So, you looking for Lyle? Take it to Lyle. Hold on a minute. What's your hurry?
You told me this was Lyle's place. I suggest you get your hand off.
Might not like what you find in there. Better think this through, boy.
Think it through. That's all I've been thinking about for years now. Is this Lyle Canner's place?
This is Lyle Canner's place.
Yeah. I think you can help me.
Lyle lately. I've always been an outlaw, man. You should have known.
So, all this time?
Yep, all this time.
I came here to kill Lyle Cantor.
You found him.
we're back, ladies and gentlemen. If you like what you hear, if you want to take a minute to check us out on Facebook, it's facebook.com/realitybrief. You can check us out on YouTube. Just search Reality Brief on YouTube. We haven't got that URL yet. We're getting there. We're getting there, guys. We're getting there.
A few more subscribers.
Go ahead and give that a subscribe so we can get that URL. You know, we got a group on Facebook. It's Reality Brief News. We got all kinds of great postings, exopolitics, and conspiracy-related discussions. You name it.
Science,
it's a great time signing on up there.
Robots that are going to slaughter all of us.
We do tweet occasionally. You can check us out on Twitter at RealityBrief111. And if you like us a real lot, you can check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/realitybrief. Maybe consider giving us a pledge of $1 or something like that. You know, you could do that. That's $1. It's not even coffee, guy. Come on. So, we're back with Anthony Zender. So, Anthony, before we hit the break, refresh my memory, you wanted to get into the gangstalking, correct? Now, before you get into what's happening to you, can you just briefly explain the phenomena? It's probably going to be new to a lot of our listeners.
Yeah, no problem. Obviously, the gangstalking phenomenon comes from people that are divulging sensitive information that could be a threat to national security. and basically the CIA, the NSA, all the government agencies that are obviously ran by not the nefarious ones. They do what is called gang stalking to the ones that are in the secret space program, star seeds, and things like that. They do gang stalking to them, which basically is a campaign. It's an operation to just totally just discredit someone, defame them, and just take them out. So they can't, so their word can't be taken as truth.
Mm-hmm.
If they reduce you to nothing, then they have maintained absolute control over you.
They've already reduced three of my family members. One of them's died. My mom is heavily affected. My whole family is heavily involved in this. Just because of, and even with my grandfather, he was what it really began with, because he was the one working on propulsion systems as an engineer for the SR-71 Aurora project. He was working on Star Wars. He was working on laser target designating systems to target UFOs. Because that's what the Star Wars system was all about.
Mm-hmm.
So our family, just from that, is just heavily suppressed and heavily targeted, and I'm the only one that has gone to the lengths to uncover everything. There's been another my uncle my uncle who actually, he didn't go the full way, but he was actually also Marine too, and he obviously got into UFOlogy, studying things, and he's a super soldier. He was a Marine, and but he didn't go the whole way. He didn't go the whole way down the rabbit hole like I did.
Right.
So, but he is the same thing as I am, except he's a generation. He's generation 3 and I'm generation 4. And with the generations, obviously, it can be seen like each generation is a advancement of the next one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a movie that actually is come out that actually depicts this quite well, and it's called Ghost in the Shell.
Right, familiar with that.
Oh yeah.
And this is
the animes too.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but I get triggered. I get triggered when I see certain things. And when I saw Ghost in the Shell, I've always known that this was the kind of technology that the secret space programs and everything is dealing with, is basically putting a human consciousness, a human soul, in a cybernetic body.
Mm-hmm.
and I have been I've been in cybernetic clones.
Right. So you have firsthand experience with being out of your body in a artificial shell carrying your consciousness.
Have you ever woken up during that process?
Yeah. Well, lots of times I'll be doing a mission or something like that, and then I'll wake up in my bed, and I'll be just in normal everyday life.
No,
But
I mean
obviously
like wake up consciously in that altar, in that cyborg.
Oh yeah. I'll be in it, and I'll be actually making decisions like last night.
Well, tell us about last night.
Yeah, tell us what happened.
You know, last night I actually every night is just a new night for me, and last night I was on some sort of mission, and I was I think it may have been Mars, and it was in a canyon type environment, and I don't know what was going on, but there was a ship landing, and the ship was SSP. It wasn't like super advanced, like a high beam, but it was like like what you see, like what Elena Kapolnik explains, like in the SSP, like it was like a fighter jet, and it was coming to pick us up, but we I had to basically take a weapon and discharge it at some sort of creature that was coming to get us, and at that time I discharged it, but it didn't affect it, and someone died right in front of my face.
Oh, well, that's terrible, man.
Yeah.
Makes me think of that scene from Starship Troopers.
Yeah. I mean, and that's what I saw, but I know that it was a memory, and I've had other memories too where people have died around me. They've been, eaten by like things, and it's pretty intense. But that was the one of the memories I had from last night, and then the other one was one where I was obviously infiltrated. I believe it was at CERN, and because I have a lot of clones, I have clones for days, and I know that they're all over the place. And basically, I was at a plant, and someone was letting me know that they knew who I was. So I had to escape. And that was I know I'm heavily involved with CERN and sabotaging CERN, and
So who controls CERN?
What's that?
Who actually controls CERN right now?
I would say the cabal and the elite.
You know which faction?
I would say the Clintons, and the Bushes, and all them.
So
they're
lines.
Right. Those lines, those royal bloodlines. But what they're trying to do, what they're trying to do, is they're trying to keep a time loop. They're trying to keep a time loop going. So we think the same thing's happening over and over again, kind of like what can be seen in The Edge of Tomorrow. Have you guys seen that?
Yes, I have. That was pretty interesting.
Oh boy, I love that movie because that movie is disclosure as well. Because I mean, I just want to punch Tom Cruise in the face.
Yeah, who
because
doesn't?
he's playing all the parts, but they know things because they have millions of dollars, and those people that have millions of dollars obviously know truths.
Well, how do you
They
think?
can wave in everyone's face because they got the money.
How do you think
They do.
Scientology plays into this?
Scientology, they know some secrets, but they hold that as power.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what knowledge is all about,
Right.
and that's what I said in the end of my book. I'm like, this the secret to freedom is knowledge, not ignorance, and that's what the elites know, and that's what they've been doing. But basically in The Edge of Tomorrow, they show how aliens keep us under control by doing a time loop. And basically there's people that wake up to that, like what he does in that movie, and they understand what's going on, and basically they're like, oh shit, I can either do the same thing over and over every day, or I can get better You know what I'm saying? And then navigate myself, you know, to wherever I need to get to end this.
So the meme about the reptilian overloads resetting the simulation to 2015 and saying, "Sorry guys, it was all a joke." There may be some more truth to that than most people believe.
Dude, what they're trying to do is they're trying to reset us for another 26,000 years.
Whoa.
Another cycle. And those people that don't wake up, that this is the truth. The people that don't wake up to the truth are going to go around for another 26,000 year cycle. So descended. And the ones that do wake up are going to go through a 26,000 year cycle ascended, because there are different earths. And the thing though is that the 26,000 year cycle is called the precession of the equinoxes.
Right.
And the last 13,000 years since the last fall of Atlantis, which I go about it in my book, the last 13,000 years has been darkness, where the archons have come in and they've controlled us and all that stuff. But the 13,000 years before that was the years of Atlantis. And that's the one thing that the powers that be don't want anyone knowing is the truth of Atlantis, is because if anyone knew the truth of Atlantis, they would know that there were civilizations that had attained higher technological, you know, heights than we are at right now. Because really, truly, at the end of the cycle, we are at the highest height that we're at. And right now, at the end of it, we're about to go back into another cycle. And there's about to be some serious changes.
That's part of why I always lose it when I hear... you ever heard of the Antikythera mechanism? It was an advanced piece of technology recovered off of the coast of Greece.
Looked like a giant clock. They found it on a boat in the bottom of the Mediterranean.
It looks like a centrifuge, and they're all like, "Oh, it must be a clock or some kind of advanced
like a bunch of gears."
Like, no, it looks like a transmission, or like a navigation control cluster or something. Like,
yeah,
there's no way that's a clock.
Well, man, I had heard a theory too that it's actually was a calculator.
No, that's interesting though, because what I've understood about the missions that I'm on for Kruger, and stopping Monarch, I'm actually a commander of runners, and runners are they're super soldiers that have abilities that are extreme, but I actually sent a runner out to retrieve a part that was alien in nature. And they went to retrieve that part, and that these are the parts that Monarch and the Cabal and all them are using to build their machines to keep us in a time loop, and that's what we're involved in doing is stopping them.
So how many times do you think that we've done this radio show? Well, I'm just joking.
Maybe four times. Maybe four times, because I say that it's a 26,000 year cycle, but there's actually a bigger cycle that happens too, and that's 104,000 years, and we've done 4 of those, so we're on the 5th one now. So if you add it up, 26,000 year 4 times is 104,000 years.
So when you say repeating the same cycle, you don't mean literally, right? Like you mean being trapped, forced to reincarnate here for another 26,000 year period. That's what you're saying, right? You're not saying that it's not like a giant Groundhog Day. That's not what you're saying, right? Or is it?
Pretty much that's what they've done and created in this matrix, though, is because they get people to die and then come back and not and that's what they get people to do, and not know actually about reincarnation. So because reincarnation is actually a truth.
Right. So I'm just a little bit lost here. So what you're saying is the cycle is a reincarnation cycle, or it's an actual, like the movie Groundhog Day, where we've already had the same discussion on the same radio show once already.
I believe it's in that manner.
So it's like a Groundhog Day thing.
Yeah, we've done this before.
Now, now how does diverting time? Now, last time we were on, we touched on the Mandela effect a little bit, didn't we? I think so.
I don't think so.
I could have sworn we remember talking about.
You want to get into time travel?
Well, we were talking about
getting time waved and whatnot.
We were talking about, essentially that. You were saying diverging timelines at that point, and you had mentioned something about a Nazi timeline with the tech, and then I can't remember what the other one was. But so, how does all that fit in with this?
Right. Well, the thing is that fits in with, the Nazi timeline has obviously been by the victors.
Mm-hmm.
That it has been trounced out. In this consciousness that we have, and that's for a reason, because everybody knows about the Wright brothers, but who knows about the Vril sisters?
Right. Besides
you
us.
Well, I knew there was a Vril society. I didn't know about the sisters.
Yeah, the channelers.
Oh boy! If you want to get into that, we can get into that. But
we could probably do a whole show on the
yeah,
Vril
I mean,
society.
that's a whole nother thing, man.
But yeah, it is. It is.
I just
big,
mean,
though.
how did those? Because at one point you were saying that the timelines were coming to a crossroads. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm working on memory, which is faulty. The timelines were going to come to a crossroads, and we could end up in any number of timelines. So, is this part of that? Are they essentially re-rolling the character in Dungeons and Dragons? You know what I mean? Like they keep. Well, it didn't work out how we wanted. We got the Nazis this time. Reset it. Is that what's going on, or?
It's definitely the timelines are being manipulated from a future. And a future that already is,
Mm-hmm.
and the best way I can explain it is there's always timeline manipulation going on, because that's what black operations
Right.
is about.
Can you
and what I've come to understand about black operations, and what I'm involved in, and I could get into this is we're doing black operations to take out the Federal Reserve and the cabal.
Thank you.
Thank you for
that's
your
the
service. Only way.
Can you elaborate on that at all? What are you doing?
I can. Oh boy, I can. Yeah, no. Time travel in black operations is involved for taking out the cabal and the Federal Reserve, because that's the only way that it could be done. We have to go back in a certain point in time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? To stop.
So how does that work then? I mean, I guess that means that me and you or me and Dan, I don't know about how that would work with you, but we'd still be fucked. It would be an alternate version of us that would get the benefit from that, because we're still on this timeline. It wouldn't actually erase this timeline, would it?
No, we're all on the same timeline. And
right.
That timeline,
but if you went back to the past and you changed it
right.
and altered it to where the Fed wasn't a thing,
right.
then it creates another timeline where the Fed's
right.
not a thing, but we're still here.
Right.
So
right, experiencing the Fed being a thing, right?
Right. So how is that helping us?
Well, you're going to see that the Fed isn't going to be a thing pretty soon.
Right.
Because that is what I have understood about what I'm involved in. Is I am in black operations, eliminating the cabal and the criminals and the Federal Reserve. And I actually can tell you a story right now. You know what I'm saying? That is quite unbelievable. But have you guys played or seen the game Mafia 3?
No, I haven't.
Mm-mm.
Okay. Now here's the thing. All right, I'm gonna explain this to you. In that game Mafia 3, it takes place in 1968. Okay, there's a man in it named Lincoln Clay, and he's a special ops soldier. You know what I'm saying? And in that game, his whole mission is to take out the criminal syndicates that are criminal mobsters that have to do with the cabal and the Federal Reserve and all of that. Mm-hmm. And basically that is disclosure. Okay? But the thing is though is here you go. All right, Lincoln Clay is a super soldier. All right?
Right.
And check this out. All right. When I talk to a secret agent in the ACIO who has given everyone their information and their files, even Elena Kapolnik, all her information she's gotten from this secret agent. Okay, so I'm telling you this. I was told, I was talking to this secret agent, and I asked, am I going to be approached? Am I going to be approached soon by someone? In physical form. And he said, yes, you will be. And I was like, okay. And I was like, who's that going to be by? And he's like, it will be by Lincoln Clay. So Lincoln Clay is one of the first super soldiers who actually was injured, and he got shot in the head. And basically that injury released, actually it didn't kill him, it released more brain potential usage. So he was able to use 80% of his brain.
That's awesome. Okay?
And well, that's what super soldiers are all about, is more brain potential usage. And he was one of the first ones. So
we got a caller coming in, man. Would you want to take a call?
Yeah, I'll take it. Yeah, but I definitely want to finish this story.
Okay. Caller, you're on the air with Reality Briefing, Anthony Zender.
Hey, so I want to talk more about this super soldier thing, and I want to kind of, I don't know, at least get more down to the idea of it. Do you think, I don't know, do you think abductions have anything to do with it, or do you think that's more or less a thing where it puts it in front of, like a mask on it when it's really just, government shills doing it?
Well, when you say abductions, do you mean, I assume you mean ET abductions?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, I do.
Well, it gets kind of... The super soldier thing, from my understanding of it is, and I think we've lost Anthony here, it's us. It's not ETs. So it's these groups coming out of the ICC, which is the Interplanetary Corporate Conglomerate, and what they're doing is they're using that to run their operations, and they're involved with black market slavery. Essentially, they also have this technology that they sell off to ETs,
as well as things from Earth like rare metals and drugs that they sell to off-worlders.
I gotta try and see if I can get Anthony back here. Oh, let's see. Is that all he had, caller?
Well, no, yeah. I mean, that was basically the essence of my question. I mean, more or less is I want to know is are there people that have the ability that are like are they scouting for this thing? Is there like bids or something they throw out for it, or or that like what is it like because the whole idea is like how do they pick these people from this group?
I'm sorry. I just got Anthony back. I'm sorry about that, Anthony. I apologize.
No problem.
His question was, I'm sorry. One caller, why don't you just go ahead and ask him yourself? It'll be a little easier. I'm sorry. Can you repeat the question to Anthony? Guess not.
You there?
I thought I hit merge.
Whoops. No, hang on.
It's there. Caller, are you there?
Can you guys hear each other?
I can hear.
Okay.
I was asking about the fact with the whole super soldier program. Of the whole fact about it is it when people do people get abducted with it? Is it something that like you sign into, or is it more or less like a third party kind of acting upon you, being like welcome to it kind of thing?
It's definitely they know who you are, and then they get you to sign up. They'll get you to sign up, and you won't remember anything.
Man, that's scary stuff.
They can make you do anything.
Essentially,
yes, they can. Because with me, and actually I got cut out last time I talked about this, was when I was 16. They approached me, and basically I signed the contract, which everybody does sign a contract. They get everybody to sign the contract, and then they erase your memory of it. That's what I found.
That's hardly sporting in commerce.
So Anthony's service was through the military, and then there was others like Ileana we had on our show previously, where her service began from an alien abduction, which was aliens that were working with us.
Right.
So to your point earlier about how it could be, you know, human stooges or whatever, a lot of that is kind of intertwined with each other. A lot of people say that they're scooping them up after abductions to see what they were doing, or they were using the alien experience as a cover memory for the actual MILAB experience. And I don't know.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Anthony, can you speak to that at all?
What is it?
Did you have any during your MILAB experiences? What type of cover memories were used?
Right. Basically, I mean, the military does get you for your extraterrestrial abduction experiences, and they want to know and what happened with those experiences, so they abduct you.
Right.
So you have extraterrestrial abductions, then you have military abduction.
Right. So when you're in the military abductions, it's my understanding they use a lot of screen memories to prevent you from remembering what really happened. What type of screen memories did they use on you? Was it ET experiences or was it something different?
Basically, the screen memories that were used on me were like one example I can give you was of the memory that I had with Alana Kapolnik and being with President Trump on that mission, and her being communications and us being together. But the way I remember it was basically I was on a school bus instead of a ship. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And I was with Trump on a school bus. You know, and then I basically escorted him, but I escorted him, and basically I was outside of my youth, you know, where I lived in my youth. But basically that was a secret space program mission that I was recalling. But that was all screen memories that they were throwing in for me not to really know what was going on.
All cover fluff.
Yeah, but I knew what was going on because that's all I want to know is what's going on.
So does that answer your question, caller? Hello? I think he already left.
I think he bounced.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So now if I can get this video stream back in.
Now, there's a question I wanted to ask you, Anthony, about what's it about Nibiru and the whole proximity to Venus. Is it along the orbital plane or is it a different direction? Like if I wanted to look towards the sky to try and pick something out, I work third shift a lot. And while I'm walking home, I usually have a fantastic view of Venus and sometimes Mercury. And it's about 5:36 in the morning. And it's the brightest thing in the sky. But I would assume if Nibiru is coming from outside of the solar system, then it's not in the same direction in the sky as Venus. Like, if we wanted to look for, you know, gravitational phenomenon or other things related to the approach of this thing, like, how would the average guy with a telescope in his yard, what kind of clues should he look for?
From what I've seen, from what I've seen from the videos that I show, and I actually posted them up on my Facebook. It's you know, barely visible by telescopes right now. You know, just being by Venus, and it is in the opposite. You know, it is opposite of us because it doesn't go with us; it goes against us. But it's at Venus right now, and I'm not sure if you definitely can't see it with the naked eye, but it's right there. You know,
as it gets closer, what sort of stuff should people look for?
Oh man, well, obviously Earth changes. You know what I'm saying? Like gravitational Earth changes, earthquakes. You know, land masses rising and falling, poles shifting, and it's getting closer every second. So it's really and I mean I can say this as well because I am in the Illuminati. I being in the Illuminati, it is you're enlightened. You know, I mean that's what really the Illuminati means. You're an enlightened one. Mm-hmm. Right. And basically in Transformers, You know what I'm saying? In the new Transformers, they're showing Cybertron coming in, but and that's Nibiru.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And they even show you in that movie, like there's a picture of the sky, and they see something else coming in. You know, and that's what we're gonna be experiencing. But they've had operations to stop that with chemtrails and all that stuff. Operation freaking whatever it is that I said. You know, I can't remember anything. Operation Indigo Skyfold. You know. Mm-hmm. And this is all has to do with Operation Black Sky with FEMA. They're getting ready. Everybody's getting ready for this event to happen. This is what the elites know about. This is what they've known about for so long, that they built underground bunkers about and everything. And I'm actually in a mystery school, which has taught us about this event happening, but it's not in a nefarious way.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
So which one would that be?
I'm Ramtha. The Ramtha School of Enlightenment. You know, that is the school that I am in, and it's not just the school is life, you know, and that in that school, basically, Ramtha is an extraterrestrial. You know, he is from the future. He is from another dimension, and he's teaching all of his students extraordinary abilities. Telekinesis, telepathy,
pyrokinesis.
What's that?
I'd love to have pyrokinesis. It's
like I'm just telling
telekinesis,
you,
but for fire.
Be careful what you wish for. Be careful what you wish for.
I've been wishing for it for a long time.
Well, okay, I'll say this. Okay, have you seen the movie Looper?
Yes.
Okay, I'm telling you this right now. That is disclosure as well. And in that movie, they show in the future that people have telekinesis.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But they send people back to the past where people haven't developed these abilities yet. But there are people that have the ability to develop them that are actually dangerous to the way things are to people in the future. Right?
So let's say if I were to work with a Geishik spirit and evoke something that was capable of giving me, teaching me the secrets of pyrokinesis and fire magic, that could pose a danger to somebody in the future and end up getting somebody sent back after me.
Yes.
That would suck. I still might try, but that would suck.
It's a real thing, you know what I'm saying? They don't want anyone waking up to what is they're able to do, you know. But after all of this happens, that's what I'm saying is people's abilities are going to become more prevalent, because once a fucking planet comes by here,
right,
and which is the poles, and the Federal Reserve is falling, and martial law's instilled, you know, and all this stuff is happening, there's going to be stuff happening that no one's ever experienced before.
The Great Ghost Dance, maybe?
The Great Ghost Dance?
Yeah.
What's that?
What the hell are you talking about?
What's it? It's a Native American thing. They say that when it's time for them to get the land back, the natives will perform the Great Ghost Dance, and it'll bring Earth back to a previous age.
That's what's in store. So, but I wanted to keep talking about the experience that I had about meeting an actual super soldier in real life. You know,
tell us.
Yeah, do it.
I mean that was crazy. I mean, it was absolutely crazy because of course I'm waking up to this and I'm told by the secret agent, who is an agent for the ACIO, which is the Alien Contact Intelligence Organization, and this agent, his job was to basically get in contact with all the super soldiers and help them with understanding who they are. And each person, he told their files, every file was different, because I've talked to a lot of them, and he told them everything was different, so you could know the validity of what he was telling them. That's and it's for real though. And basically I was like, am I going to be approached? And he's like, yes. And I'm like, by who? And he's like, by Lincoln Clay. And Lincoln Clay, you can see in Mafia 3, That's Lincoln Clay, and he is a super soldier, and he is involved in interdimensional black operations. And basically, one day, I was walking where I always walk. You know, I walk where I walk, and I go into the forest, and they always know where I am. And he was right there in my path, but I was just gonna pass him, okay? And there was about a 6'3" black man on my path, and I was just gonna pass him, and he actually approached me. You know what I'm saying? He came up to me, and he's like, "Hey," he's like, "Are you that MMA fighter? Do you fight MMA?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I do." He's like, and he was wearing a Marine Corps sweatshirt and everything, and he started talking to me, and basically we started talking about my fighting, and then we didn't talk about anything crazy, but then I just told him I had to fight, and then I was going along my way, and he's like, okay, he's like, well, I'll definitely be there, but he's like, he's like, my name's Jay though. He's like, my name's Jay, and that's very resemblance to Lincoln Clay.
Mm-hmm.
And it was Lincoln Clay. I mean, it was the guy. If you look up Mafia 3, the guy that is on that cover, that is the guy that approached me. Well, and he's an interdimensional time traveling super soldier.
I wonder if they do stuff like that. Like they'll take characters that are actual operatives and they'll put them in video games and stuff, so it's plausible deniability. So
I have more
ever mentions it,
for
like
you.
You're doing right here, they can be like, whatever. That's something from a video game. You don't know that.
I have more information for you, because there's another video game. I have more called Mirror's Edge Catalyst.
I never played the game, but I love the soundtrack.
Well, I'm just trying to tell you. This is what I was told by the secret agent. You know what I'm saying? I was like, when I was told this, I was blown away. And literally, Faith Connors in that game, the leading character in that game is a real character that I'm running missions with. Cool. That actually is I'm running missions with, and is I'm telling her what to do, and she's actually pissed at me because she's doing all the suicide missions. And I mean that's a truth too. and there's more disclosure too. Watch Dogs, Aiden Pierce is another real character.
Is it a game or a movie or?
That is a game.
Okay.
Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot of disclosure going on. And I mean, I know that this is hard to believe because for me it was. But when I had fucking Lincoln Clay approach me in real life, I definitely knew that this was all for real. And I also know as well that when everything all goes down with Nibiru passing, pole shifting, everything, people are going to be seeing things in the sky. Ships are going to be landing. You know what I'm saying? There is going to be aid. You know what I'm saying? Humanitarian aid and stuff, because we have defeated the cabal. Because if we didn't, like basically if Hillary would have won, that would have meant that the cabal won, and we would be going down in another 26,000 year cycle.
You don't think Trump is cabal?
No, Trump's not cabal. Trump's a rogue. Trump's just a rogue guy, but he's not influenced by cabal and the royal bloodline family. He knows about them, and he's against them. That's what I'll say.
I really hope that's true. I mean, like, I hope that's not like Trump pulling a snow job on everybody.
Dude, he's been taking out the pedophiles. He's been taking out everybody. He's been making changes big time. I mean, what president has come into office that is just making changes?
It'd be nice if he'd get our guys out of Afghanistan.
It would be nice, but do you even know why they're in Afghanistan for the first place?
Heroin and rare earth elements. Deep underground military bases, entrances to
There's a lot going on there, and it's like extraterrestrial too. So I mean, there's a reason why all those empires have gone to Afghanistan in the past,
and why none of them.
And there's a reason why they've lost.
Yeah.
So. Now you were talking earlier when we first got back from the break, and we got sidetracked, and you didn't get to elaborate about the gangstalking. Did you want to talk about that? Or
Yeah,
just
I
move on?
definitely want to talk about that because I'm actually not a victim anymore. You know, in my healing process, what I do every day, I meditate, I heal myself, but I have risen myself out of my victimization. So a lot of people that are involved in gang stalking and stuff, they're victims. You know, and they're coming from that mentality. But I'm above that now, and I'm not a victim. So, but I'm gang stalked, 24/7, because of what I know and what I'm coming forward with, and they don't want me to get this out because if it were to go 100th monkey, you know, it could create change, but it doesn't matter with the cosmos and what they're doing because the change is coming anyway. So basically, I wanted to talk about the 6 stages of gang stalking. and my experiences in what they do, what the CIA does, the NSA, those agencies, they do target star seeds, they do target super soldiers and stuff because obviously they're a risk to national security. And you know, my family's been torn apart by this, but I was able to rise above it. But you know, the first stage is selection. And they select whoever it is that they're gonna gang stalk, that they're gonna do this operation on, and you know, and then the second stage is surveillance, and then you know you can see the surveillance happening. Like I told you before, the guy would pull up to my house every day, you know, just sit there and not do anything, and just sit there for hours, just watching me, you know, while I'm on the computer. Yeah, while I'm on the computer gaining information, making my work, he would just sit there. And actually, it was funny because one time I'm like, fuck this, dude. I'm going out here. I'm going out here to fucking approach this guy right now.
He drives off.
I'm glad you said that.
No, but he didn't. But he didn't, though. But he didn't because I'm like, dude, I don't give a shit anymore. Right. I know this guy is CIA or NSA, and I'm going straight up to him, and I'm going to fucking approach him. You know, and I went up to him. I'm like, hey man, I'm like, what's up? I'm like, what are you doing? I'm like, what are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I'm just watching for you know, a certain kind of SUV. You know, that was the answer. That was his answer. But
like every day, he's just that's his hobby, watching.
But
SUVs.
I wasn't scared. I just fucking went right up to him, and I knew he was an agent. So that was the surveillance. You know, and that's surveillance. But then there's the stalking. That's the third stage, and then obviously that's part of the stalking, and you know they follow you around, and you know it's pretty obvious that they're doing that. And
so
you
the
know,
surveillance part with them being out front in a truck, do you think that's just more of an intimidation tactic? Because I mean, we're talking about the technology to be able to just hear everything that's going on in your house.
They
from
could
wherever.
spy you from space if they really wanted to.
You know what I mean? They don't. Need they don't need to do that by any means.
Yeah, on all different levels, but yes, very much intimidation tactic. Very for most people that weren't in the military, that aren't fucking martial art experts, you know what I'm saying? It would be an intimidating thing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but it's not intimidating to me because I'm ready to go anytime.
Right.
So it's like,
me too, man.
But and then after that, there's defamation, which I've actually experienced that. But for most people like that are involved in this, they'll have jobs and stuff like that to where they'll be able to be defamed out of their jobs. But for me, I don't have a job. You know, this is my job. Just disclosing this. I get paid from the government from being in the VA. You know, and that's how I'm able. Plus fighting. You know, that's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
But the way they defame me though is when I come out with YouTube videos and stuff. You can see the agents though. You know who the agents are though because they'll say certain things like, oh, this guy's crazy, you know, he must be on medications, you know, he's you know, this and that.
Things that a handler would say.
Right, and they'll try to defame you. They'll try to bring you down. They'll try to make other people not believe what you're saying and stuff like that. And you know, I've had that done to me. But they can only do it on that level because I don't have a job and they don't have anyone else to try to, you know, prove that I'm crazy or whatever the hell they're trying to do. But then there's the fifth stage, which is attack. And I've been attacked, man. I'll be sitting here on the couch and I'll just be I'll be hit by an energy weapon, and it will blow me down on the couch.
What is the sensation? What does it feel like?
It's a high amplitude frequency that just blasts you, you know. And,
so it's like a kinetic force.
Yeah, very much kinetic.
No like tingling involved or heat or anything like that. It's a kinetic pushing force.
There's tingling, heat, and it's kinetic pushing force. But I know that they have people out there with weapons directing them at me wherever the fuck they're at, where I'm around, because they have a whole team. You know what I'm saying? They have a whole team for gangstalking teams. They have a whole team of people that surveillance people. You know, and I mean, I'll just be sitting here talking to someone, and then all of a sudden, boom! I'll just be hit by a fucking energy weapon. But the thing is, though, is with my practices that I do, in raising my light body and meditation every day, I'm not affected as much as other people are, because those frequencies, they do send people into angerous rages and all these things, you know, that they don't even know. And they even show that in Kingsman, the movie Kingsman: The Secret Service. You know, they show those frequencies are being put on people. You know what I'm saying? And there's high up billionaires that are involved in, you know, in implementing these frequencies on people. You know, and basically the next stage is monitoring, where after they fuck you up, they just continue monitoring you, and that's what they're doing to me right now. But they know they can't stop me. And I'm actually protected by higher forces. That's why I'm still here doing this. So,
do you ever like find your stuff, like your locks jimmied or your windows or stuff broken open or mail tampered with?
I've had
sort
some,
of stuff.
Yeah, I've had some unusual experiences happen to me where things go missing, and then I will find them like a month later, back in the place where they went missing from.
Yeah.
So that does happen to me. So that's part of the gang stalking thing, and I know a lot of people experience that, and of course they can't talk out about it, because anyone would think they're crazy. If they go to a psychiatrist, they think they're crazy. They talk to their family, they think they're crazy. You can't talk to anyone, you know, and that's just a hard place to be in. You know, but the one time I went to a psychiatrist to talk to what I was going through, you know, because obviously I was going through all this kind of extrasensory perception experiences. He basically, you know, told me some techniques to calm down, and then the next time I went into him, there was a government agent there asking me what I knew.
From what agency?
I'm not sure what agency it was.
The kind that doesn't need to identify itself because they're.
Well, I'm just telling you, the next experience that I had was, I went there. I talked about what I knew. There was an agent there. He took me aside, and basically, this guy he kind of woke me up to who I was. But I didn't know at the time, because I had just gotten out of the Marine Corps. I was like 24. And he was there after I had spoken up and come out, and he took me to the side, and he just started talking about things that I just couldn't really handle at the time, because he's like, do you know how easy it would be to get a nuclear bomb in the United States? He's like, all you'd have to do is just row it to shore, you know. And he's like, you know, and I've always been interested in assassinating the president of Iran. And he kept on saying, he's like, that's only the tip of the iceberg, but that's just only the tip. And I know that he knew who I was. He knew who I was, but I didn't know who I was yet. And basically that same guy, he gave me a card to call him up because he wanted to talk to me more. And I didn't call him up. I didn't follow through. And lo and behold, a week and a half later, he shows up at the church that I'm going to at the time, and he's talking to someone that I know, you know, actually from high school. And then he's talking to him, and we're sitting at the same table, and he asks if I want to ride home, you know, afterwards, because at that time I was going through hard times and stuff, and he asked if I wanted to ride home. And I was like, yeah, this is the same guy that showed up. And basically we go there. He's talking about how he was a commander in the Navy. He'd been on all kinds of subs and aircraft carriers and, you know, all this stuff. And it was all military talk. But when we got back to my my place of residence, like he just, you know, very faintly, you know, suggested, he's like, and you know what I've always been interested in is aliens, you know. But at that time, I didn't know anything yet. So I knew that that was an agent, you know, trying to see what I was waking up to and remembered at the time.
So,
it's pretty crazy, man.
It's real. It's real.
So,
you know, I mean, I get approached, and I know that it's all going to have to do with the future, because, you know, when everything goes down, with Nibiru passing and everything like that, there's going to be a lot of stuff happening, but there's going to be a new world order actually instilled on this earth.
That's not the cabal.
And it's not going to be bad.
Well,
but you have to get through it. You have to survive through the transition.
I was going to ask about the whole Nibiru thing. Does it have anything to do with the recently? They haven't actually detected them directly yet, but they've been able to do the math and figure out that there has to be a planet 9 and probably a planet 10 further out in our own solar system that are past the Kuiper Belt, beyond Pluto, and then Haumea and Sedna and Maki Maki and Chaos and Ixion and Varuna and all those other little planetoids that are out there on the edge of the solar system. They think that there's probably another Neptune-sized big badass out there, and maybe even a planet 10 that's further out. Do those have anything to do with Nibiru or the other star system that our sun is supposedly paired up with?
I would think that those would have to do with our solar system and what they're keeping from us in our own solar system. Mm-hmm. But with Nibiru and that system coming in the binary star system, that's just a cyclical thing that happens that we're in right now. That's just a whole nother system coming through.
Okay.
But I mean, there's probably stuff that they're keeping from us. I mean, there could be fucking 26 planets in our solar system. Who knows?
Yeah,
so
that's very true.
If this new world order is going to be great, right? So,
right.
It comes to mind that, pretty much the only people who are going to survive that are rich people who have underground bunkers, or whoever the deep black programs decide to save by taking underground. So, with that as your leftover population, how good is this new world order going to be?
That's what you may think, but there's a reason why the Bible says that the last will become the first, and the first will become the last. Because that is the truth, though, is because the first have been the first for a while because they know how have to become the first. But with what I've learned about the universe and equilibrium and balance and justice, the way of universal law is justice and balance, and it's been out of balance. And for the last to become the first and the first become the last, a new system is coming in to distribute the wealth evenly from the 1% that has held it in their with them, and that is happening, and it's going to happen because the Federal Reserve is a sham. It's a criminal thing that is just not even real. And when Nibiru passes and all this stuff, they know that the truth's going to be revealed. So this is their last stand, pretty much, to go into underground bunkers or whatever the hell they're going to do. But that's not going to save them, and neither is money.
So who gets saved, Anthony?
The ones who save themselves. That's the whole. That's what Jesus was trying to say. He wasn't. Jesus was an initiate.
Sense. When you say save yourself, you mean in a spiritual sense, not a material sense.
Of course not. Jesus wasn't an initiate. He was an initiate. He was in. I go in my book, because I was an initiate as well. I still am. I have memories of the pyramid and being initiated in the pyramid, and all of the initiates, Mary. Moses, Apollonius of Tyana, all of the initiates got initiated there, and then they went out and taught their truth. And they weren't teaching things to worship them. They were teaching truths that they understood about being their own salvation. And that is what my book is all about, is pretty much we're our own spiritual salvation. And when all of this happens, we can't look outside of ourselves, to FEMA or the government or whatever the hell is gonna try to get us to go their way, like they've been having it. Because the way you make slaves is to provide them with a reasonable amount of comfort.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Don't get on the ships.
So that's what's going to happen is FEMA is going to come out. This is all going to happen. You know what I'm saying? And people, I mean, if you think about the scale, it's tremendous. And there's a lot of people that aren't going to know what to do, and that are going to need to be controlled. And that's what FEMA's getting prepared for with the Black Sky event. It's a drill for EMP attacks and power outages across the nation, and they're getting ready for that because fucking Nibiru's coming.
It's gonna be far out.
Well, you wanted to hear something far out.
Yeah, well, yeah, it definitely delivers, man.
Yeah.
All right, so anything else?
I could talk about my super soldier experience and what I'm coming to remember and stuff, but I think I've gotten past that because I don't need to prove or explain any more of what I'm involved in.
I think we got a call coming in. Let's go ahead and see what they got a question for you. Okay,
go ahead, caller.
Oh, we got a.
Hello, is this Anthony Zender, mate?
Oh yeah.
One second, we gotta get him. We gotta patch him through.
Yeah, we're trying to.
We got some difficulties
get the calls
here.
Hooked together.
No, get out of here.
Always plenty of plenty of.
Why won't you let me do it? I'm sorry, caller. What's your name?
This is Ethan Blair.
Ethan Blair? Where are you calling from? Sorry about that.
Hey,
yeah, the guy hung up on us anyway. I was trying to get it working, and the guy hung up on us.
All right, check this out though.
All right.
Have you seen the Divergent series?
I think I've seen one of them.
I heard they were cool.
Anyways, the last one. The last one is basically about basically there's a I mean, I could go into it, but they need people to transcend the civilization in order to connect with higher civilizations, right?
Right.
And
we'll never get off world until the mass consciousness is raised.
From what I've understood of what the real Aryan race is, I mean, the Aryan race has been very misunderstood. And what I know Aryan to be is noble. That is what Aryan means. And to be noble means not being better than your fellow man, but being better than your former self.
As opposed to referring to an ethnicity.
It's not about ethnicity at all.
Right.
That is what I have come to found. And it's about transcending yourself and becoming better than yourself. And obviously, through changing your DNA, through alchemy and all that stuff, you obviously become an Aryan, a noble. And but anyways, in the Divergent series, they do show in the end series that there is a and you can even see it in Elysium too. I mean there's an elite that they know who the ones that have the DNA that are evolving, and that is important to them in their society. and basically in the last series of Divergent, they're in this dystopian world, but then a veil gets lifted, literally holographic technology just like disappears, and then there's a whole entire another civilization and force there that's just been watching them, and then they join them, and that's what we're about to do.
It's interesting, man.
It's very interesting, but I mean, it's going to be even more interesting when it actually happens. And I'm telling you right now, Nibiru I'm a super soldier, and this is an activation. Like I'm getting activated, but this event, me knowing that Nibiru is near Venus, is fully activating me in the super soldier mode.
In the super soldier mode, what do you mean by that?
Well, I'm getting ready. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting ready for everything to go down because I know that it's about to happen.
I thought the super soldier powers were from a cybernetic body. So you're saying you can have super soldier powers in this vessel?
Yes, I am saying that. But the thing though is that I'm also saying is being a super soldier is more than just being psychic and having powers. It has to do with obviously knowing that there is something that's about to happen that there's going to need to be some aid happening. And I mean, I'm telling you this right now. Here I'll show you. I have this right here. It's called a Ready Pack. All right, this is from a place called the Ready Network, and basically it's a pack that has everything you need in it to survive. And I have this, and I'm ready to go. Because basically, I'm saying get your money out of the banks and invest in something that is worthy, like silver, gold, or whatever the hell it's gonna be. Because pretty soon here, like very soon, it's gonna all go down.
All right, we're gonna attempt another phone call here.
Hello, caller.
Caller, you're on the air.
Hello, this is Jake Paul from the morning show, and I would like to ask you if the moon is real. Cause
okay. Yep. Is the moon real? That guy wanted to know if the moon was real.
Yeah, the moon's real. The moon's real, but there's bases on it.
Well, of course,
yeah,
bases on
absolutely.
It. And from what I've heard, there's caverns, and it could be hollow and all that stuff. But the moon is real.
Well,
yeah,
but there was a time. There was a time in our history where there was two moons. Back when the planet was Tiamat, when I was talking about 450,000 years ago, back when Earth was Tiamat, there was really two moons, and there was a time where actually Nibiru came into our system and actually collided with Earth.
So what happened to the second moon?
Obviously that went away, but there's forces involved with bringing moons into orbits and stuff like that.
So how do you feel about the theory that the moon is an artificial construct?
I don't believe that. I believe that the moon is real, and that there's bases there, and that's what I believe.
So Elena was on the show maybe a month ago, and she said that there's world engines inside the moon, and she saw them with her own eyes. And she claims that it's an artificial construct. I'm not trying to put you on the spot or nothing. I'm just telling you what she said.
No, I trust Elena. Believe me, I trust Elena because she's spot on. But we're all trying to figure this out.
I describe the Ligeia theory myself.
The main thing you got to remember here, at least for those of us not directly involved with this, is that memory is really fickle, and with screen memories and mind control and erasing this and spaghettifying your brain, it's not all going to line up. If all this is 100% true, not everybody's story is even going to line up anyway, because you could take me and you and put us through the same exact experience, put us back in our body, scramble our brain, and we're going to remember it differently because we're going to cross it with other memories.
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
That's the thing, kind of trying to sift through that is challenging at times, because just because one person says one thing and another person says the other thing, and they don't exactly line up, it doesn't mean that really either one is lying. You know what I mean? They're just remembering it.
It just
a
means
certain
perception
way.
is subjective.
Yeah, we're not trying to lie. That's
Right.
that's one thing. We're just trying to figure stuff out.
Well, like maybe I was thinking about that, and maybe that seen through astral vision, machinery inside of the moon. If there is moon machinery inside of the moon, if we're talking about seeing that through astral vision, that could be manifestation of the inner workings of Yesod, the Sephiroth Yesod, as dealt with on the Tree of Life. But then if
I know about the Sephiroth.
actual physical stuff, it's possible that there could be ruins that dug into the core of the moon.
Man, I mean, Earth, shit, it's hollow. Agartha's there.
So now you say the Earth is hollow. What exactly do you mean by that?
I do believe that there is civilizations in the Earth. I believe that the Nazis knew that. The Onhennerby, you know what I'm saying? The most secret of secret services actually knew that, and that's why they went to Antarctica to go there, and go there, and that's why that was one of the main things that the Nazis, the whole Nazi movement was built upon, was Atlantis and all of that,
Right, and it all links back to that Blavatsky. And
it really does.
Mhm.
It really
And
does.
even-
And the Tibetans, and Shambhala, all of that.
Well, a lot of those, most of them, almost all
I
of
have a
them.
hard time with the whole planet being hollow, but I could see the existence of massive continent-sized caverns inside of the Earth that certainly give the illusion that it's a hollow Earth.
I've heard that there's layers. There's
Yeah.
layers.
Well, I mean, it's like mainstream
But it's
science
not like
that
being
there's
inside of-
caverns that are created by the lava flows.
It's not hollow like
So,
a
I
Dyson
mean,
sphere.
Yeah,
I know
not
that
like-
there's people living in there though, because actually, even to get you on this though, Disney's Atlantis, a cartoon.
Yeah, I did see that.
Cartoon. You know what I'm saying? Even hits upon that.
There are caves in Vietnam that are big enough to fly a plane through. So,
And they've got, I seen something where they found a cavern that it was a habitat that was, it turned into like, it was like everything was based on methane or something like that, where it was like there wasn't any kind of source, and like this whole ecosystem developed that was based on like some bacteria shitting methane or something. It's pretty interesting.
I've definitely heard some things about the Hollow Earth that are pretty amazing, because they say the caverns are just, you couldn't even imagine it. It's just like
like they're big enough to have weather.
Yes.
Now, any of these missions involve that you can remember?
I have one mission recently that I recalled where I was definitely down in a cavern in a snowy type environment. I was in a base. The base was highly advanced. I realized that I was in a cavern type environment, but I that's all that I remember. But there were craft down there. There was basically a what do you call it? A tarmac, for craft
Like
and
a
stuff
landing
like
strip.
that. Yeah, pretty much. So I mean, I do have a memory of that, of in an Antarctic kind of environment.
Right, but that could have literally been anywhere. It could have been on.
It could have been.
Planet.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Is from what I've learned, I've been to 162 different planets. So being a super soldier and being involved with Kruger, being I recruit super soldiers from other species, from other planets.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
So this is Kruger recruiting from other planets. So you're doing this on behalf of Kruger?
From what I last heard, it was on Kruger's behalf, because I was involved with Monarch earlier in my career. That was when I was doing all of the dark shit, because I was an assassin for Monarch. And but when I obviously for Kruger, I was infiltrated into Monarch, and I have memories of being infiltrated with high-ranking Nazis and stuff like that. But all the missions that I've done are for Kruger, and for what I've learned about Kruger, they don't kill unless it's completely necessary, and that's what I've learned.
Now, where did you learn that? Just experience?
From the secret agent that is works for the ACIO, that gives the same information to everybody. Elena has got our information.
You talking about Peter?
I am talking about Peter, but I don't mention his name because I don't.
Well, I mean, he's not like he's been on James's show before. I mean, it's not like he
knows what he's talking about.
So, what can you tell me about the ACIO besides, what you've been telling me?
The Alien Contact Intelligence Organization is vast. You know what I'm saying? It has divisions upon divisions that, it's like the MIB. Mm-hmm. I mean that's what it's pretty much like. And I know that I'm involved with the ACIO too. Like, not only Kruger, but I'm involved with the ACIO. I have contracts with the Galactic Federation. I also am involved with the White Dragon Society and the Gnostic Illuminati. And those are the factions that I'm involved with that are all for taking out the cabal. And yeah.
So do you know how the ACIO got started?
Oh, man. That's complicated. Have you read the Neruda files? Heard of them?
Doesn't sound familiar now.
Dr. Neruda. Well, just read those.
How do you spell that?
I'm not sure, but you'll know what I'm talking about. Dr. Nuerda. He starts going into that, and they're time travelers. DC Legends of Tomorrow, they're time travelers. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's what we're dealing with, like time masters, people that are involved with keeping timelines, preserving timelines, changing timelines.
Are you familiar with Wingmakers?
That is who the ACIO is involved with. Yes.
Okay. So, would you say that it's spawned out of Wingmakers?
I know that it's like yes. They're very heavily. Wingmakers is ACIO.
So like around what time? Like what time frame are we talking?
Time. I'm not really sure how to answer that question.
Like how recent of a development is this ACIO? Has it been around for a long time? I mean, I think it's
they have been around for obviously a long time. They're obviously involved with the Galactic Federation, who's involved with all of this, who's in war with the Cabal and the Dracos, and who's in line with them, because that's the war that's going on for the liberation of humanity in the end of this 26,000 years cycle, so humanity doesn't have to go through it again, so it can ascend to the next dimension. So it doesn't have to do this again. And people from the future are literally, and I mean I go to the future. I mean that's where I go do my shit. But I mean that's what, if you watch DC Legends of Tomorrow, that's the best example I can give about what's going on is there's people in the future that are monitoring what's happening, that are intervening the way that they can to change things. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. No, I understand what you mean. I just, I think the ACIO thing is an important piece to all of this because a lot of people seem to use it as, hold it up as this rock solid thing, but I don't know, man. I got questions about it.
I'm sure you do. There's questions about everything. I have questions about everything that I'm talking about too. But still, I believe everything that I'm saying.
Right. I mean, I have no doubt that you do. I mean, but
yeah, how could you not?
My thing is, how can you be so certain that Peter is giving you legitimate? And just because the stories are different doesn't mean anything.
Oh, well, that's a good question, because the reason why I know that Peter's giving me legitimate information is because he fucking told me straight up that someone would be approaching me, and then he did.
But I mean, that doesn't, today's day and age, it just doesn't sound that hard to arrange.
Well, that too, but I mean as well, I mean, if you really want to get into it, I mean, it was there was a time. Actually, I'm not going to get into that. That has to do with yeah, I'm not going to get into that. But I know that the information, I trust what I'm hearing, from right. What I've learned is how to gather information and how to discern and get my own opinion and truth on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And that's what we all have to do. That's what we all have to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'm just trying to give the information out that I've come upon.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's approaching 10:30 here, man. I think we should wrap it up. But
you want to go ahead and tell our listeners where you get your book one more time?
Yeah, because that never actually made it out.
Yeah, I posted it.
I wrote a book called Son of the Morning. It's on Balboa Press, and Amazon, and you can purchase it there, and it obviously talks about my whole experience up to this point, as much as I could fit into 270 pages of cover.
Sure, is pretty challenging, man. Trying to sorting through a bunch of random memories that really, I mean, I'm sure a lot of it didn't have any context.
With no support either.
Right.
I had no support. I had to just, pretty much go on my own spirituality and gather my own information, and everything else is going on around me. On the way it was going, and plus, I mean, I'm heavily involved in trauma-based mind control, to where they don't want me to remember, to where my whole family has been fucked up. So I'm distracted from my mission,
Mm-hmm.
But I had to actually come to Florida so I could heal myself, from my past and everything that I've dealt with, to continue. So. But I'm actually going to be getting out of here because I'm actually going to be getting out of here and going back to where I'm from, because I know what's about to happen here. And from all the remote viewers and all the things that I've gathered, there's a big chunk of Florida about to go down.
I was going to say, where are you going to do you plan to head for the mountains?
Well, I'm going back to where I was in Washington. And basically, I will tell you this. Ramtha, who I'm involved with, who is an extraterrestrial. I mean, you can even see he's very humorous. He did an actual crop circle that has an alien smoking a pipe.
Nice.
and you can look that up, but that's how humorous he is. But literally, he does know what's happening. And through my initiation into the school, there were times where he couldn't tell me what was going to happen because I wasn't ready to know.
Gotcha.
But He has set up 3 different schools around this earth, and each one of those schools is on a safe point for after when this happens.
Is Edgar Casey's institute in Virginia Beach one of those safe points?
According to Edgar Casey, it is.
Well, shit. if Edgar Casey said it was, then I would say it was.
It is right on a smack on a ley line, like a cross section of ley line.
How close are you guys to the coastline?
Pretty close.
Like the Edgar Casey institute is pretty much on it.
We're not. Yeah, Edgar Casey, dude, is literally 2 blocks from the beach. Virginia Beach.
Well then you guys should be safe then, because the places where Ramtha puts a school are on the coastline too, but they're safe still.
Places where the water is going to go away instead of
right. I mean, yeah. I mean, if you feel like you're going to be safe, you're going to be safe. If you feel like you need to go, you need to go.
Well, yeah. And the gravitational tug of a large passing object in space could definitely leave huge swaths of land much higher than they were in the past.
It's already happening. I mean, there's land masses rising and sinking right now.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned Peru earlier in Chile. One of Edgar Casey's maps show a huge chunk of land rising out of the sea west of what's currently Chile, and a huge chunk east of currently what is the east coast of the U.S. So
it's happening.
It'd be nice to finally have some land that isn't claimed by.
I mean, I went all into my book, man, all about Atlantis and everything and what happened back then and what's happening now, because it is a continuum. It is actually a continuum. It's a time continuum. What's happening then is happening now, and in the future, it's all a continuum. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
But you just understanding that is a task, though.
Yeah. No doubt.
Good show, though. Good show.
Yeah, Anthony, man, we appreciate you coming on, man. We'll have you back again soon. And take care of yourself, man.
Yeah, be safe.
All right, yeah. You guys, too. I love it. I love talking to you guys, and keep up the good work, and I can't wait to listen to your next show.
You too, man. Thanks. And you guys out there listening, we will see you next week on Reality Brief.
beneath the